1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon. Oh,
He's just brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, and you don't want to get rid of him as soon as he did provide some, what's the term now? Some, well, he did really well for West Ham regardless, and just to send him off because you got relegation, which it's not really on Santos' fault. He came in after, I can't remember who it was, and he tried his
best. Potter, wasn't it? Graham Potter, I think.
Was it Potter? Yeah. So, I mean, Potter didn't really do much of them for a favour regardless. That's the reason why he got sacked in the end. So, I mean, if you can get him back into Premier League, fair dues. I did say it would probably be more tougher for West Ham to go down than Tottenham, because I said they'll come back straight away. It's not a problem. But for West Ham, I mean, yes, they've got a good stadium, they've got good managerial, but at the end of the day, there are hungrier teams that want to go to the Premier League more than West Ham does. West Ham has been in the Prem for years and years, and survived. But there's teams that have either never been in the Prem or have been in the Prem and they want to go back up, like Burnley, Wolves. They all want to go back up there too. They don't want to stay in the Championship. So it's definitely going to be something to see what Nuno can do for West Ham. Because if he does end up staying, it's going to be showing, okay, we kept you, now do us a favour, get us back up there,
Yeah. Rob?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a difficult one, really, because if you go back a few years, I don't know how many years, 5 or 10 years, managers didn't just get sacked after, frankly, a few months in the job. They were given a bit of time, maybe, to turn things around. And the ultimate example of that was Alex Ferguson, of course. He went to Manchester United, I believe, in '86, didn't win anything, and then it got to 1990, and by all accounts, he was one result away from being sacked. I think it was a cup game. I can't remember. I don't know who it was playing. But anyway, as it happened, Manchester United that season went to Wembley in the FA Cup against Palace. That was one of our first FA Cup final. The first game was drawn, and then you had replays then, so we went back to Wembley for the replay, which Manchester won. Now, that was Ferguson's first trophy, and the rest, as they say, is history, because he went on to win a great many trophies. But in today's world, he would probably have been sacked a year or so after he went there. So it's a very different time, and as time has gone on, we've seen that more and more, that managers don't get the time, for the most part, certainly in the Premier League and in the lower leagues, to do what they perhaps would do if they had a chance of a bit longer, if they were given more time to do what they're there to do. But no, they are given a short time. If you don't achieve in a pretty much a quick time, you're out. And one of the effects, the spin-offs of that, I think, is that we as fans, whether we know it or not, we've all kind of got into that same mindset. So if we see a manager of a club, he goes 2 or 3 months and not very good results, and maybe there was no manager's bounce when he got there, then many fans, probably most of us, would say, yeah, they can't keep him because, he hasn't done it in 3 months or whatever. So we've all kind of been, adjusted to that view of doing things. Now, in the case of Nuno, I agree with Tony. I think he was a good manager. He did well at Forest. And again, he was dealing with the owner there, which the owner has got the interests of his club at heart. I know. But I think it was quite visible at the end that Nuno had a bit of an altercation with the owner on the pitch, which obviously you just saw that he was on his way, even though he'd had a good season with Forest. And now this is where perhaps I slightly differ with Tony, that...
say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, 3 beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on the show.
That he went to West Ham in September, I believe it was, so very early in the season, after Potter was sacked. Now, Potter had been there late in the previous season as well. And after his situation at Chelsea, clearly it wasn't working out for him. And I think he's now got a job internationally, hasn't he? But so Nuno did have this time. And a good friend of mine, she's a West Ham fan. And in the early months, I remember when we would speak, she'd say, oh, yeah, we've got our best manager for a long time. And she and her fellow fans really rated Nuno. But as the weeks went on, it got past Christmas and the results were not there, she started to say, well, we're not sure about him now. We're not getting the results, blah, blah, blah. And of course, you have to say, well, maybe it isn't always the manager. It may be the team. They don't have the quality players. Although I actually think West Ham they are a pretty good team. They got some quite key players in there. But anyway, so I wouldn't go back about a week after they were relegated last week, so it's less than a week. But some of the paper headlines online were saying, oh, Nuno's going to go, the owners don't want him. And then the last couple of days, it's the reverse. They want to keep him, which probably makes some sort of sense because, like other clubs, they hired people and fired them. And you can't just go on doing that so quickly. So maybe they reckon it's better to stick with him. I think there's more problems or more views of the fans of West Ham with the ownership. I think they've got problems. They had their complaints. They've had their, protest marches and walking out of the stadium at different times. So it's always a pity when you see a club go down because all this comes to the surface and all the arguments, the negatives are played out in public. So in one sense, I'm surprised that they will keep him, but maybe in all the fallout of the relegation, maybe he'll end up being the one, constant, because it could be that the owner, I think it's David Sullivan, he may or may not want to get out now and sell up. I mean, Karen Brady left, didn't she, last season? His co-owner. I don't know about the other co-owners, but as I say, maybe it's best to keep Nuno because on balance, from what I hear from my friend, Nuno is basically respected and rated as a pretty good manager. So if they got rid of him, where do they go next? And you could say that to various teams who are going to sack their manager. Where do they go next? So yeah, on balance, I suppose it's right that they keep him. But you never know in football nowadays. One thing can be said one day and completely overturned the next day.
Yeah, that's true.
Say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, three beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on